Tutti e benvenuti a Roma. Stasera c'è una strada che da Roma...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rome. Now we are on a road from Rome to Nice. This event, organized by Shoulder Channel, is aimed to highlight a scientific event. In the past, we've had the opportunity to take part as a scientific participant, but also as a participant to that meeting. And I've seen that very high level. This event organized by PASCAL BOILEAU in Nice. I'd like to thank PASCAL BOILEAU for being with us today. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the very well-known surgeon Alessandro Castagna is going to support us, and I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Vira Carbone, a journalist. Why is Vira Carbone here in a technical meeting? Well, I strongly believe that our skills as surgeons and doctors should be focused also on communications. We have to communicate very technical concepts in a way that can be understood by everybody. Over the past few years, we have traveled to the four corners of the world, and when we talk to the patients, we must also be able to communicate very quickly, efficiently, and effectively about the surgical techniques, so that we can also inform the patient about the possibilities. Vira Carboni, she's very good at doing that. Vira, good evening. Thank you very much. Good evening, Nice. Good evening, Milan. I think it's very important to organize conferences and meetings. These are very important opportunities, and we should also promote communication. And I think it is really important to be correctly informed for both experts, doctors, technicians, but also for the people who work in different fields. From the 6th to the 8th of June in Nice, there will be this conference organized by Professor PASCAL BOILEAU, Nice Shoulder Course. For the very few of you who don't know about that, this PASCAL BOILEAU is a very well-known shoulder surgeon, known throughout the world, and I'm addressing you now. Can you please tell us what's going to happen in this 12th edition?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak about the Nice Shoulder Course. I mean, it's a very important session this year because, as always, we will try to be at the forefront of innovations and new knowledge that, as shoulder surgeons, we need to know. And as you know, there is many publications, written publications. But even if you want to follow everything, you cannot because there are too much publication actually. So what we try to do with the Nice Shoulder Course is to make a kind of summary of the best research publications for the last 2 years, and also to present what we have done ourselves on our side regarding shoulder surgery and shoulder pathology. So I'm very glad to welcome you in Nice on June 6, 7, and 8, 2024. So in probably 8 weeks from now. Can you hear me? Yes, I think.
Yes, thank you. Now, the latest developments of shoulder surgery. Can you tell us something about that? Can you speak about something that will be presented during the day, Vicent?
Yeah, so there are 3 days of in this meeting. The first day is about shoulder instability, anterior instability, and posterior instability. And there is also a session on the AC joint. And the second day is mainly on cuff problems, rotator cuff tears. And we will see what we can do today to improve the results of cuff repairs, but also what are the results of tendon transfers. And also we will have a session on fractures of the proximal humerus. And the third day is mainly on the prosthesis. so anatomic prosthesis, reverse prosthesis, or new prosthesis that are available today. So it's very dense during 3 days. In addition, we have some live and relive surgeries. So, and we have, of course, the hand-on workshop with the industry. And that's very important because surgeons can try the different material available. They can perform a reverse prosthesis for fracture with fixation of the tuberosities. They can perform intramedullary nailing of a proximal fracture. They can do planning with a software for prosthesis. So it's really very interactive and very dense for the 3 days.
Io ho una domanda per Alex, uno dei motivi.
I have a question for Alessandro. One of the reasons we have Alessandro with us, apart from the fact that we know he is a very skilled expert, but I also think that he's a very well-trained surgeon. So I have a question for you, and I'm confident that you will be interested in that question. The title of the meeting, Necessary versus Unnecessary Surgery. So it's a very interesting title. So Alex, I think you have quite a lot of things to say about this concept. Should I speak in Italian or in English? It's up to you.
Okay, so I think that as usual, Pascal, that is really a good friend for me, and I highly, highly estimate his experience, his thinking, and his teaching. Really through the decades, because I was there in this wonderful course since the beginning. You remember that, Pascal, 2000 something, I had red blonde curls on my head at that time, and still every single time he finds new ideas and new thinking. And I think that this year, with this necessary and non-necessary surgery, is a really hot topic, because over-indication of surgery, or surgery that was indicated in the wrong way, or eventually surgery that we believed it was a good one, and it was then demonstrated it was not useful for the patient, is happening, and we should prevent this. And analyzing the failures and the learning that we may have from failures, analyzing our patient, analyzing something that is crucial. Surgery is like a big tower, a big skyscraper, but the basement is indication, patient selection, and the quality you choose for your patient. Technique is also relevant, but it is on top of this basement. And it is exactly, I believe, that is the idea in the brain of Pascal. Just to clarify all these steps, that is something very important, and somehow we often miss this approach. So I'm very grateful for this topic, Pascal, because it is a great one.
Thank you, Alex. I mean, yeah, that's
Grazie. Grazie, professore.
Thank you very much, Professor. I just simply wanted to thank Professor Alessandro Castagna, in charge of the shoulder and elbow surgery department at the Humanitas Hospital. Pascal Boileau, just a few words about this topic. So, necessary surgery versus unnecessary surgery. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, this is a very special title for this meeting. And the reason is that we start to be mature in terms of shoulder pathology, shoulder surgery, but we also have some limits. We have our beliefs. We believe in some procedures, although there are few results published. And sometimes we need to step back and to think about what we really believe and the reality. And I can take some example, but for instance, for the proximal humerus fractures, today most of the surgeons are using plates to fix the fractures which are displaced. However, the publication, the science show that the results are not as good as we were expected. So we need to step back and we need to think about what we have done and the reason it fails, the reason it doesn't give the results we were expecting. And this is one of the examples, but there are many other examples. For instance, the slab repair, and Alex is the world specialist of slab repair. And we have done a lot of slab repairs. And I must confess myself that I do very few of them, very, very few, almost no anymore, because this pathology is not what we were thinking initially. We were convinced that there are many slabs, probably too many, were operated. But still today, you cannot have 1 month in the year without one publications on the results of slab repair. So that's a problem, and I think we must realize that some of the things we do, some of the surgery we perform, is based on real science, but some procedures that we do is more based on beliefs than on real science, and we need to readjust this. And we will have some bright people who will talk about different pathologies and the different type of procedures, and they will try to rebalance all this.
Senta, da quali parti del mondo verranno?
Now, the participants will come from which countries in the world? And also, this conference in a way represents a way to promote dialogue about the different techniques of surgeons who come from the four corners of the world, right? Where do they come from?
Yes, we will. We already have about more than 600 surgeons who register for this course, and we should end up with 700, I think, or 800, or maybe more, I don't know. But they are coming usually from more than 60 different countries all over the world, from Japan, Australia, India, South America, Chile, USA, everywhere. So that's the big fun about this course, is that it's a unique opportunity to meet people from all around the world and to confront our different opinions and our different approach of the surgical procedure and the pathology of the shoulder. Something also
Alex, quando parliamo di chirurgia
Alessandro, let's speak about surgery, non-necessary or unnecessary surgery. Which types of surgery come to mind? I'm asking you this question before we conclude, because together with Pascal, surgeons of our generations have experienced the first steps, the acromioplasty. When you think about unnecessary surgeons, what comes to mind about all the surgeries that we have seen over the past 30 years of activity?
Giovanni, I think that other than saying unnecessary surgery only, I go back to the principle that unnecessary, what is wrongly indicated in terms of the patient needs, the expectation of what we are choosing to do for him. So everything can be unnecessary if we make the wrong choice in the indication. And I think this is, I don't know if you agree with that, Pascal, because everything is starting from there. So you may have a wrong indication and a very good technique. You can have a good technique or a bad technique for the bad case. So everything is starting from there. Everything can be useful in one single case, even a slab lesion sometimes, fixing just the superior, posterior can be useful because slab is a definition that is not appropriate to anything anymore. It is not indicating the proper condition, but even one single slab can be treated if you select an insufficiency of the anterior superior ligament or something like that. So again, I think that we should learn for the failures, and some of the failures were also given by a poor technique, and I totally agree about the plating for the fracture, that we can do something better. Or even if we are making a good technique with the wrong indication. So the conflict is there to find a balance between all these things. What do you think, Pascal?
Yes, I fully agree with you. And I just want to speak about one special guest lecture that we will do. And this is Professor Ian Harris from Sydney, Australia. I don't know if you're aware, but he wrote a book which is the title is Surgery, the Ultimate Placebo. So he will present a very special guest lecture. And the title of this lecture is Surgical Effectiveness, Perception versus Reality. So I think this will be very nice to listen to that. But beside that, what we must realize also is that the procedures that we perform are very costly sometimes. And we should also analyze the cost of what we do and the value of what we do. And there is another guest lecture that will be given by John J.P. Warner from Boston, USA. And the title of this talk is Cost Analysis of Rotator Cuff Surgery. What is the evidence to support the high-cost technologies? Because everything has a cost, as you know, and we do cuff repair. There are different ways to perform a cuff repair, but at what cost? And that's a question I think we should ask ourselves, because the value of a procedure is based on the benefit for the patient, but also on the cost for the society, for the healthcare system. And we should balance between both. And I think we should give the best care at the best price, at the best value, because otherwise we're going to kill the system.
Pascal, penso che nessuno...
Pascal, I think that nobody better than you and Alex actually understand what is the situation in the world. You are frequently invited to conferences in Europe, in the United States of America, in Africa, in Asia, in Australia. So basically, you really know what is going on throughout the world. My question is, do you think the same pathology in different parts of the world is treated in a different way because of tradition, because of culture? And on the contrary, do you think that these conferences should be used also in order to find a more homogeneous and common therapy?
Of course, this could be the ambitions. Also, it's maybe too much, but just take an example that you know very well, anterior shoulder instability. You know that in Europe, especially in France and in Italy, we like to perform the Latarjet procedure, while in USA, they don't do, or very few Latarjet procedure. They do Bankart procedure for almost all the patients with anterior instability. So it's a different approach. This is based on our results, which are not as good as those reported by American surgeons. Alex and myself, we were fellows in the USA almost at the same time. When we came back in Europe, in Italy for Alex, in France for me, we were completely convinced that the Bankart operation was the best operation for the patients. We have followed our patients a long enough time to realize that these results were not as good as we were thinking. And that's why we went back to some other procedures like the Latarjet procedure, because there was a difference between our results and the results reported by the American surgeons. So that's a simple example, but maybe Alex has a comment to give about that.
Yeah, I agree, of course,
Alex.
because we are following the same, let's say, itinerary somehow, turning our head, stepping back and see what is going on. It is applied to every single field. Another option, because of about the question from Giovanni, is that yes, there are differences from Japan to Australia to Europe and to Northern America or Southern America. And you touched a very good point, Pascal, also for some economic reason. So I think that the lecture that is touching this topic is also very important.
Yeah. For instance, in the USA, they do a lot of allograft, which is very expensive, while we cannot afford this in Europe.
Yeah. So it will be a great meeting, I'm sure about that. I can't wait to come there.
Anche io, e siamo addirittura...
I myself, now we are almost at the end, and I was really struck by a sentence Vira said. I asked Vira, do you know Nice? Yes, I land in Nice when I go to Sanremo. And I'm sure Alex and Pascal know Sanremo. Vira, I'd like to know something more about Nice, because I'm sure it's a wonderful city, but I only know the airport of Nice. Is it a beautiful city? Pascal Boileau, is it a
Yes.
beautiful city, Nice, or not?
I think it is. I mean, this is where I live, and as we used to say, Nice is nice, you know. This is by the sea, and this is a little Italian. That's why you will love it. You know, it was Italian for a long time. We still keep the flavor. We still keep the mood of the Italian way of life. So you will feel like home if you're coming from Italy. But if you're coming from the rest of the world, I think this is one of the nicest places where you can live. You know, it's by the sea, but there is also the mountains. We still the snow on the top of the mountains at the moment, so it's a really nice place to come. And early June is really the best time because there is not many tourists. The weather is perfect, not too hot, not too cold. So I hope that people will enjoy that.
Bene, siamo addirittura d'arrivo.
Okay, so we are at the end. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you very much, Pascal. Thank you very much, Alessandro. I'll see you in Nice. Thank you, Vira. And I would like to remind you that tonight at 9:15 in the physiotherapy and rehabilitation group, there's going to be an exclusive interview to a very well-known physiotherapist, Francesco Inglese. And there will also be a guest. Alex and I know him very well, but I will not tell you the name right now. Okay, I'll see you in Nice. Thank you very much, Pascal. Thank you very much, Alex. And thank you very much, Vira, for your excellent communication. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
See you. And
Goodbye.
Thank you. Grazie mille.
Bye-bye.
Grazie.
Buonasera.
Bye, Pascal. Bye, Ale.